Hey everybody, and welcome to TekFlow for Construction, brought to you by ZenTech Consultants. TekFlow for Construction is a recurring videocast where we talk about the best tech practices and procedures that we've been implementing for ZenTech clients, ones that we think everybody should be looking to include in their own workflows.
I am Jim Coppinger. I'm a principal here at ZenTech Consultants, and today I want to talk to you guys about the concepts of user groups and permissions. Now, those of you who have been following along with this VCast may be thinking, hey, in previous episodes, we talked a little bit about user access and granting some permissions, but we kind of talked about that briefly, and we discussed it at kind of a personal individual user level, which is great. But when you're dealing with larger construction jobs, right, where you've got 100 people in-house who need to access your jobs with different permissions and control features, you've got subcontractors, owners, builders, architects, engineers. You've got all kinds of different people from different aspects of the job who are going to need to access your data. And to go in and individually handle the settings and the controls for dozens, maybe even hundreds of people on every single job can be really, really tedious and time consuming. The great thing is that one of the things we do a lot here at ZenTech is we work with our clients to help them put together their user groups and directory structures in terms of who can access projects and what they can and cannot do. All right. So with that in mind, I'm going to take you through, like I do in most of these presentations here, we're going to go through the kind of the big three, so to speak. Right. We're going to talk about working with Bluebeam and Procore and Autodesk Build. All three systems we do work with here at ZenTech for the majority of our clients. So Bluebeam is great because it is pretty ubiquitous. We all have it at some level. And when we get into dealing with the Bluebeam Studio projects and how those work, really nice. It's got a really, really simple user interface for handling, putting together large groups of reusable data sets, right, in terms of permissions and control. And same thing, we're just like we've done in previous setups. We're going to go up to the project settings here. And like I said, we talked in previous episodes about user access and adding individuals. But one of the things that's actually really nice here is that we can get into actually adding in groups. That we can actually go in and we can select from predefined groups of users that we can add into a job. And the great thing is we can go over here to the permissions tab. Right? And you see that down here on the bottom, I have the ability to just go ahead and add and create whatever design groups I need one time, right? And add as many people into those as I need. So you see I can just kind of, predefine all of my user's email address. I only got like 3 in here. It's pretty simple. But it could be hundreds of people that I wanted to put in here for subcontractors and tradespeople and people in my estimating department and so on, whatever it is I need to do. So once I've got those folks there, I can just go in to, add into my user access, and I can very easily just create or take that predefined group and just select it, right? And that adds in all of the people who are in that group. And once I've got those people added in, right, I can add in hundreds of people in one shot. Then what I can do is I can do the same thing by adding those groups, right, into my selection set, right, where I can go in and for different users and different groups, I can actually apply different levels of permission. So you see, for example, here in Bluebeam Studio, the default for people who are not assigned to a specific group is to be an attendee, right? And as an attendee, you see that basically everything is just read-only. They can't invite other people, control access. They can't send out PDFs. They can't share links. All they can do is look at files. And this is kind of the default you're going to want to set in most cases for, trades and contractors who you want to consume information, but not necessarily edit. But then I can go in, I can go to individual users, right? And I can begin allowing or disallowing specific items just with a simple setup. So here I've got Daniel. Do I want to let him invite other people? Maybe no. Maybe I don't want him bringing other outside agencies into my job. Can he change what people are allowed to do on the job? Maybe since I'm not allowing him to invite anybody, I'm not going to let him change their permissions either. Okay, and what they can do. Can he change permissions? Is he allowed to send out PDFs? You see I've got a series of individual controls and permissions here that I can apply that go just to Daniel, right? And then I can go to this user. And I can go in and actually change that and make a difference. I don't want them to have full control, right? And I don't want them to be able to share links. So I can set the specific controls here very easily in Bluebeam. And the same concept carries across most modern construction management systems. It's about taking the time to set this up and build it properly, right? So with that in mind, let's go over and take a look at Procore first. So in Procore, we have kind of the same concept. In Procore, it's called the directory structure. It seems a little weird, but it's a directory of all the users who have access both at the company level and on a project level. And again, same concept that when we go in here, inside of Procore, we have the ability to set up and add predefined permission groups. So if I go in, I want to add a new user, you'll see that I have the ability here, right? As I go in and I'll just put, Joe owner, right? And just, whatever kind of email we want to set in there. I'm just using one that I've used before. I see that I can set a permissions template. Procore gives us the ability to build permissions templates, right? Where I actually have all of these individuals already built and set, right? With specific roles, architects, engineers, foremen, owners, clients, project managers. And I can even set and create company level templates for like my admin group or my estimating group, right? So I can go in and I can add these people and I can give them predefined permissions. And I can even go in and I have the ability inside of Procore here to go in and add companies, right? You see that here I can go in, I can add company statuses and I can tag people to go into specific companies, right? So that when I go in and I define them, I can just say, hey, people from, Acme Plumbing, they all have these permissions, anybody from Acme Plumbing. So I can, apply the permissions at a company level. And I have a very similar concept working on here in terms of dealing with the Autodesk Construction Cloud. When I go in here, one of the things I want to do with this, you'll see it's very similar to Procore. If I go into my account administration level, that in here, I have the ability to go in and when I get to providing member roles, you see that over here, I can actually choose what companies they go in. I can choose which roles that I've predefined permissions for project managers, foremen, engineers, what they're allowed to do, right? And I can go in and decide whether they're, going to be an account administrator, an executive, a project admin, whatever it might be, which is kind of a unique thing to the Autodesk Construction Cloud, which I kind of like. You can actually assign individuals, even individuals outside of your company, access to licenses. So if you need for just this, one project, you need, the county engineer to be able to get in and do some editing and markup and check some things on the BIM side or whatever in your construction cloud, you can go in and assign temporarily one of your Autodesk license to that named user, right? Which really makes it a very versatile way, right, to be able to get in and control who's going to be handling, who's going to be working with all these. And this is it's a very simple concept, this idea of defining groups. But like I said, for a larger a general contractor or a developer, when you're dealing with so many jobs and you have so many people who need to interact and work together, trying to go in and manually create all the permissions for each and every one of those is ridiculously time consuming. And you really are much better served whether you do it with a consultant like Zentech or if you got someone in-house who can handle it, in developing reusable, intelligent groups with preset permissions to make your construction management of your jobs a whole lot easier. So there you go, folks. That's what I wanted to talk to you today on TekFlow for construction. I'll see you in the next episode.